Winter is once again at our doorstep, and insurers are ready for anything the season may have in store for us across North America. I'm John Weber for AM Best TV. So what should we expect this winter, and how should the property casualty sector get ready and anticipate what the cold weather months will have in store?
So let's maybe start with modeling. So as you know, one of the ways insurers manage risk from extreme events, including winter storms, is by modeling the range of losses that could happen in a given year. So certainly the historical loss experience is useful, but more effective when augmented with the results from a catastrophe model. So really the goal is to ensure that insurance companies are adequately prepared when the events happen.
So what kind of winter should we expect this year, especially since this is an El Nino year?
Not every El Nino is the same, but the large-scale general patterns that an El Nino event causes across the winter is fairly well known. We expect that the southeastern United States, as well as California, will likely be wetter than normal over this winter. And of course, in California, that's welcome news. Let's keep the reservoirs filled and reduce the wildfire risk for another year out there. And the southeast can use some rain as well. On the temperature side, the northern tier of the United States, particularly the Pacific Northwest and the hot northern plains, tend to get warmer and drier over this period. And also, I want to note that due to the enhancement of the subtropical jet stream, Florida and the Florida Peninsula tend to see more tornadoes during an El Nino winter than in other years.
Now, for the insurance industry, winter storms have gotten a lot more costly in recent years.
The Insurance Information Institute produced a list looking back over the last 70 years, from 1950 to 2022, of the 10 costliest winter storm losses. 5 of them have occurred since 2014. Winter Storm Uri in 2021, the $15 billion or so in terms of losses that occurred over a 5 or 6 day period in Texas. That was a big sort of eye opener in terms of, an area that wasn't used to that type of event and the losses that could come from that, especially, when it impacted infrastructure.
We had a lot of manufacturers, industrial clients that lost power for an extended period of time because of the power outages associated with the freeze. And a lot of these companies were in jeopardy of losing control of chemicals and other processes that would have related to a pollution incident.
That February 2021 Texas freeze, which also was a large one of the biggest insured losses, of the year in 2021, and one of Texas's biggest insurance loss, weather events. Texas is a state better known for hurricanes than snowstorm.
2022 was another year across the nation that we saw another estimated about $6 billion in overall winter storm related losses from commercial and personal lines insurers, and again from the losses that can happen from direct damage and from business interruption on the commercial side.
For insurers, despite all the technology now at their fingertips, modeling for winter storm perils has been something of a vexing conundrum.
From a modeling perspective, one of the challenges for winter storms is that they're very complicated phenomena, much more complicated to model than, say, hurricanes, for example. So for modeling winter storms, we use numerical weather prediction models. These are very sophisticated tools that simulate the complex three-dimensional nature of these storms. And then we couple that with high-resolution historical data to create these huge catalogs of events, so close to 70,000 events. And so fortunately, technology does help there. We have access to compute power that makes that possible.
In recent years, insurers have had to adjust their view of winter weather risk as the climate has changed.
On the temperature side, our winters, particularly at night, are not as cold as they used to be. Areas like Minnesota, Wisconsin are about 4 degrees Fahrenheit over the winter warmer than they have been in the past. So this means in general, we see this warming trend, which leads to more liquid precipitation in some reason than frozen. But overall, we're still going to have cold outbreaks and snaps here and there, but the long-term trend is for milder winters across the continental United States. On the precipitation side is where I would be most concerned, is because like with other perils like tropical cyclone and convective storm, winter storms to some extent can be fueled by warm ocean waters as well, especially the so-called bomb cyclones, which are called bomb due to rapid intensification off the coast over warm waters. So a warmer atmosphere is going to allow more moisture to get into these systems, which means there is greater chance for flood and extreme frozen precipitation events as our atmosphere continues to warm and has these large reservoirs of energy within the ocean.
So it would appear that when it comes to winter, the best advice anyone can give is pretty simple.
I don't think people should, let their guard down. And I would also say our model is predicting, again, it's consistent with El Nino, wet for large portions of the U.S., especially along the East Coast here. So even if it's a mild winter, if the cold air and the storms kind of link up together, there's certainly the potential for some big snowstorms, which is consistent with the multi-decadal trend that we've observed.
For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.